our next guest knows all about Bruce Bowen and Ray Allen and the rest of the NBA. It is time once again to go jamming with Jalen. Please welcome Knicks wingman, Jalen.
What's going on, Best Damn Sports Show family? Thanks for having me on.
Good to see you again, Jay. How are you?
I'm real good. Thanks for having me.
Hey, I know you've had a couple of run-ins with Bruce Bowen. I mean, you probably saw him kick Ray Allen there in the back. Is he the dirtiest guy going in your league?
Well, he's one of them, but also he's a good player. That's what he has to do to keep his edge. I mean, he's a defensive player. He has to get up in you. He's not a guy that's going to score 20 points, so that's how he earns his check. He got a couple of championship rings. Unfortunately, he kicked Ray Allen. He's done some other dirty plays, but he's a real hard player, and I really like his game.
You know, maybe the Knicks fans would appreciate him a little bit because I think really, to be honest with you guys, you need a little fight right now. It's been a big soap opera. Steve Francis isn't happy. Stephon Marbury's not happy. Larry Brown's not happy. All three of you guys finished the game on the bench back on March 15th. Is anyone happy? What's going on up here?
Can we all just get along? I mean, I think that's what happens when you're a lottery-bound team. You got strong personalities. You play in New York City, obviously a big-time media capital. You got some quotable guys in our locker room, and bottom line, we're just not getting it done. Unfortunately, ourselves, like the other lottery teams, we're not just shutting up and letting the season in. We're finding ways to make the headlines instead of playing good basketball and making the headlines. So hopefully we can find a way these last 13 games to at least salvage something and play some better basketball.
Well, Jalen, staying with that, man, you know, I played 16 years in the NFL and had some tough years in Detroit, as you know. But is this the toughest year you've had to endure in your NBA career?
Well, it's one of them. It's definitely one of them. All of the years that you don't make the playoffs are tough, and all of the years that you have career lows are tough. So probably my third year in Indiana, that was my toughest year before this season. But this is a different kind of tough because it's my 12th year. And every time I lace it up, it's really all about the playoffs. It's all about the big stage. And even though I'm playing in Madison Square Garden, which is one of the biggest stages, we're not a playoff team. So that kind of hurts. And, you know, playing in Toronto, a team that was lottery bound as well. I'm playing for two teams that wasn't planning on championship parades in June this year.
All right, let's talk about a few teams that have a shot at a championship. Let's cheer you up, buddy. Let's talk about the Final Four and the run that George Mason's on. We just had their head coach, Jim Larinaga, on the show. Your impressions of what's going on there. You enjoying it?
I'm excited for them, and they're definitely bracket busters. So everybody besides the little kids in that locker room that said that they picked George Mason, you're definitely lying. I'm really rooting for them. It's good for college basketball, kind of like the run we did in 1992 with the Fab Five. We were 5 freshmen. We were a number 6 seed from the Big Ten. They're from a mid-major as an 11th seed getting to the Final Four. And as a Cinderella, you hope to make it to the Sweet 16 maybe, and that's a great season. But to actually get all the way to the Final Four, beat North Carolina, beat Michigan State, beat UConn, I mean, they may have a legitimate chance to win it all.
Now, Jalen, you talked about brackets, and you talked about, you know, you guys being a 6th seed. Now, how are your brackets? You talk about nobody picked George Mason. What about you, man? Because on this show, I'm the only guy that's still got a team in the Final Four. And believe it or not,
good job.
Yeah, Rodney.
Yeah. Believe it or not, it's a USC guy who picked UCLA.
Oh, man, you can't go home tonight.
Yeah.
Did you just let that cat out of the bag?
It's rough.
A USC guy picked UCLA?
Yeah. It was a West Coast thing more than a school thing.
Okay, for sure. But out of the 4 teams remaining, obviously you got George Mason and Florida, 2 teams that obviously Noah's been playing well, the big center for Florida. I just don't think that George Mason probably can be the underdog in 5 or 6 straight games and still get over the hump of that emotional joyride. And LSU, what about what those kids have been through? You know, being in New Orleans, being displaced, still finding a way to not only find salvation in that, but to still play good basketball and make it to the Final Four. I'm rooting for those guys. They got 7 players that are sophomores and freshmen, so I always root for the young teams. And obviously UCLA, who hasn't played real good basketball as far as a lot of people are concerned, but it's all about winning at this point. And I think the final game is going to be LSU in Florida.
Oh, okay, very good. Our new hoops analyst, Jalen Rose. Everybody.
Absolutely.
Good job. Jalen, when you were up in Ann Arbor, Michigan made back-to-back Final Fours. Congratulations once again. This year the Wolverines are back in the Final Four, the NIT Final Four, but you're there nonetheless.
Glenn Rice is rolling over in his grave. Cassie Russell, they're rolling over in their grave.
Hey, are you going to go to the games because they're at the Garden?
I am going to the game. I support that maize and blue till death do us part. Myself, Jamal Crawford, Maurice Taylor, we're going to be there rooting for our team. And obviously, we disappointed we in the NIT, but we are Amazing Blue forever. And we will win tomorrow against Old Dominion, and we will win the NIT.
That's right. The champion, we're number 66, starts tomorrow night. Jalen Rose, as always, we'll talk to you soon. We wish you the best of luck over the Final 13.
Thank you very much.
Jalen Rose. He's a pro.
He is a pro, but it's got to be killing him.
It's got to be tough, but he's a pro.
That's tough, man. But you know what it was like.
Yep.
You have tough